Hello class, this is Mr. Perez. I'm going to make a short video about your assignment 4A and 4B. On one of them, you have to make a Forrest Gump type of picture. That's the B part. On the part A, you have to make it big and small. You must be on the photo as a giant and as a tiny little person at the same time. The Forrest Gump is a little more complicated. I want you to use a historical photo, meaning photos that are famous. They're not known for their artist that took the photo, but they're known more for the content. For this project, I want to use photos with large amount of data. For example, I got this photo of the man on the moon, and this is actually 33 inches big. And it's a big deal because the more pixels you have, the better Photoshop can work. Then on this photo, I want to put Big Bird as part of the image. So I went to Google to look for images of Big Bird. Okay, the first one that I got, I looked for a Big Bird from Sesame Street with a white background. It just make it easier to work. So I got this photo here, and it's actually a small size photo because I just went for plain images. So if I look at this image and I drag it into Photoshop, you'll see what happened. The image, Photoshop make it quite small. You might be really tempted to enlarge it, and you can do that really easy by just clicking Show Transform Controls. If you do that, you got the little corner points, and you can do like an Illustrator. You can make your photo larger. And it looks just perfect on the screen. The problem by doing this is when you actually print out the photo, this will be really bad. It will be very pixely. So that's not your best alternative. Now, if I undo it, I can have Big Bird far away in the background, that size or smaller, and he will be perfect. Another thing that I could do is go to Google, look for images, but this time I go for search tools, and let's say I go images larger. Well, let's go large images to see what happens. And I go a few different ones. These ones are actually a larger format image. This is, in this case, it's just a toy. So if I go to this image and I drag it here, you will see how much larger it looks than the other one. So that's another option. We're using images for an assignment at school. It's not a profit-making ordeal or nothing. So sometimes when you have images like that for an assignment, you can get away with more things than you would do for a commercial kind of image. It's always good to go to usage right, and you can go label for reuse, for example, or reuse modification. That allows you to use this image and play with it. Or non-commercial reuse, like a school setting. And then you get to see that type of image. On my example here, I'd rather have the clean white image because then to clean out the background, I can use the Magic Wand tool. This is a great tool. I can change the tolerance or the strength of the tool. I'm gonna set it in 25, then I hit return, and it should pick all the white on the photo quite easily. If you notice, the image just became clean right away. Then I have to use return to release the image. Now I'm gonna click on the other one with Big Bird, and I hate having to go from layer to layer to do this. So I click on auto select, and then by just clicking on the image, let me let go this for a moment. Go to the move tool, auto select. I got the image now. Take the magic wand, and don't confuse the magic wand with the quick selection tool. They're different. Quick selection is actually sometimes better to do selections. You should read about the usage of the tool. So I can go delete, and I have a Big Bird on the background now. So I'm gonna have Big Bird behind the flag. Kind of trying to steal a shot here, while I'm gonna have this other Big Bird on the front. If you notice, Big Bird here still have little dirt around it. This is when the quick selection tool can become a charming tool to clean up this background. You see how I'm selecting more and more around the image? And once you select everything around it, like I just did, oh, I forgot about this area. So I hit Shift, and then I can add that to my selection. This tool have refined edges, and then I can go and start cleaning up a little bit. I like the overlay look. The red area is the area that I'm gonna get rid of. And I need to add shift because I kind of like left this area here. The way it works is by changing the things here. This case, this is a really bad deal because I forgot about the hand. I didn't notice that the hand was unselected. So if I hit Option, I can add more to the selection. So I hit Option to include this area here because I'm clicking from the deselected area actually. The bird is not selected, the background is. So now I go to Refine Edges, and now I can put an overlay, and I can start extending the radiuses, how far the tool is gonna go. And I wanna smooth it out so it looks nicer. And I go okay, then I can press delete, and the edges on the image are actually cleaner. I know it's hard to notice sometimes, but it actually is. There's still a little white here. I should do a better job, but I'm trying to be quick for this video. The other thing I need to do now, I look at the colors of the astronaut. They're very different from the bird. I need to play with this a little bit. And I can do like an auto contrast. Sometimes that works. Oh, I still have the selection done. So let me deselect the image. Okay. So I go Image, Auto Contrast. And I didn't do much with it. So I go Image Adjustment, Brightness and Contrast. And contrast make the dark darker and the white lighter. So I'm gonna take a little brightness out. So they're in outer space. They do have the strong light from the sun. So I go, okay, that's nice. Let me put a little vibrance as well, which make the colors richer. And maybe a little more saturation. So I go, I'm looking at the reds on the astronaut's flag. So maybe it's too saturated. Let me go. And I go, okay. Another thing I need to do for this to work is to have the shadows correctly. The lights are coming from this side, so I just need to just flip the image. And I go Free Transform, that's a right click on the mouse with the Lasso tool activated. And I go Flip Horizontal. And now the shadows are better. I can also do, the Photoshop have this shadow filter, and they're kind of handy sometimes. It's one of those tools that sometimes work and sometimes they don't. I have mixed points about it. Photoshop do have like a light generator. It looks like a light bulb, but I don't know if I like it. It's under lighting effects here, and you can actually create an artificial light. Photoshop make like a new menu for it and show the image. Let me see if it seems like it doesn't want to take the filter. Let me try it again. Lighting effects. And I don't know, the computer is having trouble with it right now. In any case, it tends to look a little fake, so I always have issues with it. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna try one more. If not, we're gonna skip it. Lighting effects. Filter is not working right now. Sorry about that. You can also burn the image. You can take the burn tool, make a big brush for it, and tell Photoshop maybe you want to darken the midtone something like 12%. You need to be a little smaller so I can make shadows for this. If you know how to draw, you know what I'm talking about making the shadows. Then the big bird back there, let me click on it. It needs to be kind of darker. It's too saturated. So if I go hue saturation, I can take a little bit of the saturation down. So it's not so bright. Maybe a little dark even, because it's further away. And keep the size, like I was saying. In order to make it look like it's behind the space module, all I have to do is make a mask. Okay. I generated a bunch of layers here. That shouldn't be there. Oh well. I'm gonna delete those layers. Sorry about that. So I go to this layer here. I can make a layer mask, and then I can just mask it out with a black brush. I can go. Notice that I'm drawing on the mask. I'm not erasing anything. I'm just actually, whoops, that was a mistake there. I'm just actually making the bird looks like it's behind. Something that far away maybe needs to be a little blurred. So I click on that layer, not on the mask, but the actual layer. This is what the mask would look like. You see, that black is what's hiding the bird. And I'm gonna blur it a little bit. I can go filter, blur. Let me go for kind of like a Gaussian blur, just a little bit. You see, 1 pixel, maybe 1.5, so it looks a little further away. What else I need to do? I need to go to my background layer. It's always a good idea to have a copy. So I can go Option and drag up. Whoops, it's locked, it wouldn't work. So I need to double click, unlock it. Then if I hit Option and I drag up, pushing the mouse down all the time, I can make a copy. That one's on top. I'm gonna take my burn tool. I'm gonna really get it up high, like 50%. You see that shadow there? That's what you want here. There's a bunch of ways to make shadows on Photoshop. I'm just gonna use this method. And I really have to go dark because I guess those light from the sun are really strong in outer space. Maybe I need to go even further yet, 84%. So now I'm talking. You see how I'm making a shadow? In theory, I have to go way darker. I'll have to do this one as well for the bird back there. I can burn a little shadows here and there on the bird, but if you go too dark with the shadow maker, it just doesn't look right. Okay, finally, this is the way you have to save for this class. In this case, this is project number 4. So my name is Pedro Perez. I have to go to File. I'm going to go to Save. And then the other thing that you have to do is you have to select with your initial. So Pedro Perez is P Perez 04. Notice the space here, and use the format as for your assignment. This is where you get the format that you want. So I can do a PDF, Photoshop for your original. You need to submit your projects that way, or they won't be graded. So beware. Thank you, and that's all for this part of the assignment.